So what I was sharing is one, welcome to the very first episode of Maverick Live, Becoming Aligned. And this is consistent with my brand of helping others become aligned and courageously fulfilling the life and work you were uniquely made for. And it's been my brand since I wrote my first book. And it's the work that I do with most people about one, helping them recognize who they were uniquely created to be, but also help them become aligned with that so they can be aligned vertically with God, internally with themselves, and then aligned horizontally with others. And I decided to go live on a second day during the week because I've had so much fun with Lisa on Thursdays. And Lisa's partnership is really around our brokenness to wholeness. And that's named after the work that she does in the ministry that she has and the partnership. But I thought it was probably time for me to also provide another event or another day where I can actually speak directly to my Maverick Nation, those that I have come to know and love and that I know that follow me very, very closely. So this is really meant to be more of an intimate discussion. For those that are actually online, please fire away at comments. I'm practicing new tech with each one of these live streams that we do. So I do have two screens up now for the first time than when I did on Thursdays. So I'll be able to, one, push slides in the future. If we feel value in doing that, I can have chat up on one display. I can use the other display as we need, as we see fit going forward. So I will share that just like I do on Thursdays, that our live streams, my live streams, are really about presence and courage, and it's not about perfection. So everything that we do will be raw. It will be authentic. It will be on the fly. I do have a script, a basic outline of what I want to talk about with each event, but I really want to have a lot of dialogue and interaction with everybody and really speak from the heart. And if you're anything like me, some of the challenges that we've grown through life, we've gone through seasons where we've been tested. We've been stretched, we've been refined, and I can speak. And I know that some that are joining us, welcome Gina, I see you, thank you for joining. We've been refined through betrayal, through divorce, through addiction, through relationships, through having children, raising children, through years of service. I know we have one that joined us today who serves as a nurse, and I see others who serve. I spent 21 years in the Navy, and then another 16 years serving the Department of the Navy in a program after that. And I know that sometimes that service costs us moments that we can never get back. And I've lived it, and I'm still walking it out. And I wanted to share with others just that alignment isn't a finish line. It's a rhythm that we keep returning to, and that we have to keep checking in with ourselves, again, checking in with God. And when we get aligned vertically, internally, we can then become aligned horizontally. So my Monday talks are really to talk about faith, culture, intimacy, and our calling, our purpose in life, and how alignment keeps pulling us back and to who God made us to be. Because when we become aligned with Him vertically, we can really get aligned internally. And again, as I've shared a couple of times already, we can be aligned with those around us, our community, our partners, our children. And it really, really comes down to alignment and knowing who He created us to be. Sometimes I get asked often, Jeff, why does it feel like everything looks fine on the surface, but inside something is off? And I know that I look at the way I had success through the world standards, both financially, through awards. You can see part of the wall that I have here. This is what those of us in the Navy call the I love me section of our house, where we've hung every accolade and award that we got. And sometimes we start chasing those things because we're looking for value. We're looking to scratch an itch. We're looking to heal an ache that we have. And that ache is often an ache of being unfulfilled. And that's what being or becoming aligned is all about, is finding fulfillment in who we are and whose we are. And I know that I chased those accolades, that status, for a good portion of my life. And I watched, not only with my 3 days in the hospital after a 3-day coma in 2017, how I watched how my marriage collapsed after 28 years, how I experienced estrangement from my children, and also what I've also experienced is the rebuilding of all of that and the reconciliation of all of that. And now that my life is not fully aligned, because we're always working towards that, but it gives us the opportunity to become healthier, happier, more joyful when we start recognizing who we are and what our purpose is. And back in the days when I was chasing the accolades and the awards and the status, it's a drift, and it's a drift that no status or accolades could ever fix. And I've carried that weight, the weight of leadership, and it left me scars. But thankfully, God is healing me of that. And that's the ache that I'm talking about right here. And anybody that's listening, and those that have followed me for some period of time, just know that you're not alone. Just this week, I was talking to a person who looked quite successful on paper, a very good career, a decent marriage, highly respected in the community, but he told me that I feel like I'm slowly dying inside. And that's an awareness moment. When we start feeling those things and sharing those things, it gives us an opportunity that there is something not broken beneath, but we're missing something. And sometimes others don't see it. They only see the outside of us. I also answered a question online just yesterday when a person wrote the question, what makes a human worthy of receiving love? And she went on to describe a very long post, the pressures, and I'm looking at it right now on this other screen. She went on to describe the pressure to perform, to be beautiful, to make herself look better so she would be loved, to be more successful, and then compliant enough. And she would do all these things just to feel worthy. And I'd like to share, and that's what my whole movement is about, and what I'll call the Maverick Nation, is that you, if you're anything like me, you felt that pressure too. And it's not what you do that brings you value, it's who you are. And the truth is, our worth doesn't come from beauty or wealth or status. Our worth comes from God, because we are made in the image of God. And because God is love and we are made in his image, we are worthy of love. And because of God and his creation of us, we are called to do the same, to love others, to love ourselves, to love others, and be able to share back into the world. But when we forget these things, it's when misalignment starts to creep in. We start performing for affection. We start resenting others when they don't give it. And then we forget, just like we forget that they can't or don't give it for the same reasons that we can't or don't, when we don't remember or know where the source of that love comes from. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to really start this movement, is to remember who you are uniquely created to be, to know that you have value, and that we shouldn't be chasing tools and hacks to make our lives better. We should be chasing God. We should be chasing who he created us to be, and revealing how he created us in order for us to bring that beauty into the world, that uniqueness that only you can bring to the world, that he built you fearfully and wonderfully, before the foundations of the earth to bring that to the world and to show others only what you can show them, only what you can bring to them. And whenever we don't do that is when everything starts to unravel. And we often start chasing symptoms of that underlying ache of our worth, our value, and who he created us to be. So I'd like to challenge everybody that's online to imagine yourself living fully aligned with your design, with who he created you to be. Imagine what your health would look like if you're not grinding to have value somewhere. What would your intimacy look like? Or how would it be restored if you were loving because you know the source of love and you love another person because of the source of who they are, rather than doing it just for performance? Where would your work be if you didn't have to prove yourself every day, but you worked on fulfilling the mission that God created you for? I'd like those questions to sit with you just a few minutes. And while I see some coming and going online, I'd like you to just drop in with us. Let us know that you're live. Let us know where you're logging in from. And if you listen to this on replay, I will leave it out on replay. I'm going to encourage you to also let me know that you're listening to the replay. So what God's alignment does for us is it opens up our peace, our power, and clarity. It opens up love that lasts, and it opens a life that you don't have to pretend about, that you can be bold in who he made you to be. And God's put this calling on my heart. It's not a theory for me. I've lived it. And what I've lost over those first 48 years of my life. But because of the grace of God and what he has shown me and what he has revealed to me and what he reminded me that the gifts that he gave me and the person that he created and its purity and its pure innocence is not something to run from or hide from or put masks over. It's something to live into and to live into boldly. And when we remember who we are and whose we are, we can live in boldness. We can live in boldness for that mission and for who he created us to be. And that's why I show up here. And that's why I show up with this fire. And why I have such a passion for what I do. I have a passion for what I've been through because of what I've been through. And I don't do it for numbers and I don't do it for money, but I do it for connection of others and ultimately to be obedient to the calling that God has put on my heart. And if just one person hears this today and finds the courage to take that step to who God created them to be and the calling that he made them for, it's worth everything. Because the same God who pulled me through that fire can pull you through it also. So today's a short discussion. It's my introduction. I'm happy to have open conversations while I'm online. I'm happy to answer questions. For those that are longing and feeling this ache, if you can send them to me in a post, you can message me and I'll answer them on the live. I'll answer them online in the future. But my calling to you, my invitation to you, Maverick Nation, if this stirred something in you, don't walk away from it. Know that you're not alone, that every single human being wrestles this in one way or another. And we may wrestle with it or show up differently in our lives, in our work, in our families. We may suffer the pain of this in different ways through being a workaholic or through addiction or through withdrawal. But those are all symptoms to the underlying problem. They're all symptoms of the underlying problem. So just remember, you're not alone, you're not broken, and you were made for alignment, for clarity, and for courage. I'm really struggling to see. I know that I did get, I lost my Facebook feed. I have a note here for those that are watching in the replay that I did lose the Facebook feed. And Johannika, thank you for sending me that message too. But my note here says we're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook's end, and it's possible the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook. I'll have to go back and look and see what happened to my stream. But I will check the Facebook stream to make sure this, if there's anything that I can do on my end, it won't happen in the future. I do know I'm still streaming on LinkedIn and YouTube. So, but I will close with this. If you're ready to begin walking this out, there's 3 steps that you can take. One, you can work with me directly. Obviously, you can keep watching online. I'd love for you to like, share, and invite others to this, because sharing this message to other people will really help them. You can also work directly with me, and you can do that by logging on to my website, checking out how to reach me and some of the services and offers that I provide. Here you can learn more to work with me directly. And you'll find tools, resources, and ways to take the next step towards your unique design. If you're interested in learning or working a little bit on your relationships, I am working on a book right now called Maverick Intimacy. And as I'm writing the book, I decided to write another short guide on that. And here you can dive deeper into how alignment can restore intimacy. So you can explore that at maverickintimacy.com. You'll find a preview there of the book. It's a field guide to help with polarity, presence, and lasting love. And the last thing that I am working on right now is in September, I am doing a live event with my friend Lisa, who you've seen me live stream on Thursdays with. And she and I are doing a live event in Waldorf, Maryland, and we're also going to be streaming live online. And that event is called Brokenness to Wholeness, and you can register for that at brokennesstowholeness.org, where you can join Lisa and me for a live, spirit-led event where we walk out our testimonies in real time and actually have a live session like what we do on Thursdays in person on Saturday, September 13th. So please register for that. There you'll get teaching, you'll get real stories, and you'll get hands-on guidance on your own path. So I thank you all for joining us today. I know we had a great turnout on Facebook, and unfortunately we lost the Facebook feed. But I want to remind everybody that alignment isn't something you figured out once. It's something that you live, and it's a rhythm of harmony, of turning the knobs is one of the things that I often coach people on in our lives, in each area of our lives, in order to get fully aligned with all areas of our life. And it's something that we can walk out together right here on Mondays at 1 p.m. And if you feel that another day would be better, I'm all ears to opening to when time and place and when might be a better time for you, because ultimately I want to serve you and I want to build this movement, what I call the Maverick Movement, to be able to help as many people as possible and to get as many of people aware of this message about where your value comes from, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that God made you for a very specific purpose, for a very specific time in today, in our lives today, and where we're at. So I thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Maverick Live. Let's step into alignment together.